For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, we are live and amplified. So let's get ready to podcast.
Fire it up.
Welcome, everybody, to another live and amplified livecast. I'm your host, Tom Quiet, and we are back at it again with another amazing podcast. Today, we have a very special guest. We have Sarah McMurray. How's it going today, Sarah?
Hey, how are you?
Doing pretty good. Did I pronounce your last name correct?
McMurray, yeah.
Yeah, okay, perfect. I usually double check, and I felt so confident that I had it correct, so I'm glad it wasn't an epic fail on my part.
You did
First off, thank you so much for jumping on the podcast. I'm really excited to sit down and chat with you and get to know a little bit more about you. Thanks for being a little bit flexible. You know, we're kind of dealing with some things here with my family, so everything's a little loosey-goosey at this point. So
yeah.
So I want to thank you for that, for being so flexible. But before we kind of jump into everything you got going on, new music you released, what's kind of your background story into music? What's your origin story?
So my dad is like a pretty musical person, and he plays guitar, self-taught. He would have also like just always written songs and like kind of made stuff up, but he wouldn't have ever taken it on like in a way that was like going to take him anywhere career-wise or professionally or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I just sort of picked up on that as a kid. And I also started learning guitar when I was 10 years old. I started getting lessons in our school library with this guy who he just randomly walked into our classroom one day and was like, I'm going to start doing guitar lessons if anyone wants them. And I was like, yeah, because why not? And I remember like I would never really felt like as a kid I was very good at anything. Like I wasn't like a sporty person, and my school was very, very focused on like sport and things like that. And I remember being like in my first lesson with him and him being like, can you play this? Can you play that? Like teaching me stuff. And I just found it so easy. And I remember him being like, I'm quite shocked at how naturally good you are at this. And I just felt like as a 10-year-old, I found my place in the world when he said that to me. So it was quite nice. And then I also just started writing bits and pieces of lyrics, just like as a 11, 12-year-old. And then one day I faked being off sick from school, and Taylor Swift had released her Red album. I was 12 at the time. Yeah, because she released it in 2012. So I sat in bed all day and I listened to that whole album, because I remember I'd heard We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together on the radio in the car and thinking it was like the most sick song in the whole world. And so I was like, I'm going to listen to this whole album. And I just completely fell in love with it and was like, oh, she just like shares like all of her emotions and all her feelings and all of her stories and situations like in a really raw, authentic way. And like, I feel like I could do that. Like I want to do that. I'm quite a sharey person.
Mm-hmm.
If you meet me at like a party, by the end of it, you're gonna probably know like my whole life story, which
nice.
Is, I don't know, you could take that in a good way or a bad way, whatever. But I just thought like if I'm gonna share, I may as well do it in an art form if I can. So I just started doing that, and then I released my first single when I was like 17. So yeah.
Gotcha. So you started learning how to play guitar at 10 because of some guy that walked into your classroom. And then shortly after that, you started writing lyrics. What kind of prompted you to start writing at such an early age? Because I'm sure that like they weren't like the most profound thoughts or in-depth meanings, but what kind of prompted you to start writing so early on?
I think like I listen to a lot of music in general anyway. I think a lot of it was actually to do with Disney Channel, if I think about it. Hannah Montana was my favorite TV show. And I think I kind of wanted to be her when I was a kid, because like what little girl didn't who watched that show?
Yeah.
And I just wanted to be a pop star. And like I would listen to a lot of Miley Cyrus, a lot of Hannah Montana, a lot of Katy Perry, Taylor Swift, and like Avril Lavigne, and all like the classic early 2000s pop people. And like I think I just was trying to find an identity, and that was like all I knew I wanted to be. So anytime I would listen to music, I would like in my imagination kind of imagine myself singing the song like on stage, like at a concert. And I've always done that, and I still kind of do that now as well, because I think it's kind of like having that fantasy dreamland, like that brings you comfort and like who you want to be, but like you aren't there yet.
Yeah.
So that kind of prompted me to be like, oh, I wonder if I could kind of be that and start trying to write something of some sort. Like, as a 12-year-old, I had absolutely no knowledge of like life or romance or anything like that, really. But obviously I'd listened to a lot of music, I've watched a lot of movies, I'd read books, and thought, I kind of had some sort of basic idea of it from that. And like I've always been a very emotional person anyway, so yeah, I think it just kind of came from that.
Gotcha. And are you pretty much self-taught as far as it comes to writing, or did you have somebody kind of like this is showing you how to do it?
Nah, I just taught myself.
The wonders of the internet, right?
Yeah. I think I wanted to be like an author for a while. So I would try and like write a lot of prose, and I would write poetry and stuff. And when you just kind of like, it's the same way like little boys would play football in the playground. It just comes naturally to them. I just feel like it's something that came naturally to me. It wasn't something I had to think about.
Gotcha. So when you first started, or now that you've been playing music for almost 10 years, I guess at this point, right? Yeah. You've been playing. I'm sitting here trying to do math, and it's like, oh, math, where did it fail me? So you've been playing music for almost 10 years at this point. Have you picked up any other instruments, or did you learn how to play piano or anything else, or is it all just primarily guitar?
Well, actually, the first instrument I learned before guitar was piano.
Oh, okay.
I didn't start writing until I had a guitar. And that was probably because anytime I saw Taylor Swift, like she always had an acoustic guitar in her hand. Yeah. So I thought, oh, like I'm going to do that. I'm going to be like her. I still do that as well now. I'm still like, I want to be her, but I also kind of found my own way. But everyone starts with some sort of like inspirational foundation. But I did start learning. I've been playing piano since I was 7.
Okay.
And I only did a couple of grades in it before I like quit because I was a lazy child. But like I still play the piano. I still know how to play it. And I actually find it easier to write songs on the piano sometimes because all the notes are just like right in front of you. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Actually, that makes perfect sense because I've always kind of thought that if I were to learn how to play an instrument, it'd be easier for me to learn how to play piano because everything's right in front of you. Yeah. Whereas a guitar, it's the same 5 strings, and then you've got to like make the notes happen by, yeah. And even when I play guitar now, when I'm like thinking about what chords I'm playing or what notes I'm playing, I imagine a piano in my head because that's what I learned first, and it's also a very easy like layout because it like we said, it's all just there. Yeah. And then I can also play ukulele. Do you just pick? Well, I've always been curious. What's the difference between the ukulele, like as far as like the notes go? I'm obviously there's a difference, but
well, there's only 4 strings
on
a ukulele, but there's 6 on a guitar.
Okay.
And also it's a lot lighter. I think it sounds more like chirpy, and you couldn't really write a sad song on a ukulele, I don't think.
Gotcha.
The sort of vibe. If I ever play the ukulele, I'll always usually play like I'm Yours by Jason Mraz or like Hey Soul Sister by Train. would be my two go-to songs because they're just such ukulele songs, or like they make you feel like it's the summer and you're happy sort of
Gotcha.
vibe.
Gotcha. I was just trying to figure, because I guess it would probably be a rather easy transition from guitar to acoustic guitar to ukulele. Is it a rather easy? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't play it like a lot, but I think I learned it like just pretty automatically because if you know guitar,
yeah,
it's just an easier version of it.
Gotcha. So let's go ahead and jump in, talk about your most recent single that you released, Prosecco and Rain. What's kind of the story behind that song?
So I wrote that song about my 19th birthday party. I had moved to Glasgow. I'm from Ireland, but I moved to Glasgow in September 2018. So I was 18 at the time. And before that, I had like really, really bad anxiety in my last year of school. And I skipped school like more than I went in, I think. Because I just had constant panic attacks and things like that. And my mum had moved to London for university when she was my age.
Mm-hmm.
So she was always like to me, like, Sarah, you need to move away because like you'll really grow into yourself and you'll find yourself. And like, that's how you're really going to become an adult and like independent and all this sort of thing. And I knew she was right. And I really, really wanted to, but I was also absolutely terrified. And I remember when I first moved, I absolutely hated it and I resented it because and it wasn't because I didn't like it. It was because I was scared, like really scared. And I didn't know anyone in the whole country either. Apart from like one or two people who like I didn't really feel that like I was that close to at the time. So I did feel like really alone. And I also dated a guy at the very start, like during like my first week there. That I have a song called Such Time As This that's like about that. So that was like kind of like I mentioned that because I feel like that's kind of like a prequel to Prosecco and Rain. And then as time went on, I got my heart broken. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to give up. I'm going to be like, I'm going to make it myself a life here because, I got determined because I'm a Capricorn. But, but like, I just decided, I'm going to like go to class. I'm going to go to church. I'm going to go to like clubs and whatever. And I didn't go to parties and stuff for a long time because of like the panic attacks and stuff. So I started forcing myself to do that again. And I started to really enjoy myself, really find myself. And I made like the bestest friends in the whole world. And by the time my 19th birthday came around, which was like the start of the second semester, I was living in halls, like in dorms. And I just found that like, I remember like looking around at my birthday party and thinking like, I've made it. Like I have the best friends in the whole world. I feel like I'm myself again. I feel like I can just be free. And like, I don't know. The Prosecco and Rain part of it is like, a couple of people bought me bottles of Prosecco for my birthday and like we popped them in at the party and it was also like horrible weather that night. And I remember thinking like my hair is so gross right now because the Prosecco had gone everywhere. It'd gone all over my hair and it was raining outside. So I was all like wet and disgusting, but I still had like the best night ever. But so it's kind of about being like, it doesn't really matter about how pretty you look or whatever, as long as you've got the right people around you. Like you're gonna have a good night.
Yeah, it's very true. Very true. You touched on something that I do want to ask before we continue talking about Prosecco and Rain. You said in 2018 that you moved to Glasgow. Why did you choose Glasgow?
Well, because I do psychology as my degree, but I really loved psychology and history, and I didn't know which one I wanted to do. And like Scottish universities kind of offer doing 3 subjects in your first year, rather than just doing one plain degree, which is what like England and like Ireland would like offer. So I thought I could go anywhere in Scotland and do both subjects. So I did psychology, history, and English in my first year, and then I Now I only do psychology because I've ended up choosing. But I also just thought like Scottish people have better banter than the English do.
That's fair.
And I also think like their accents are really cool.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna move to Glasgow.
Awesome.
I
Oh,
want to be a city girl.
gotcha. Oh, so you released, or how long ago did you release Prosecco and Rain?
I released it in March, February.
So it's been out for a little bit.
Yeah.
What kind of feedback have you been getting? I saw it on Spotify, and it's been getting all kinds of plays on Spotify, so that's really cool. But what's the feedback you've been getting?
It's probably like been my most loved song, I think, which says a lot to me because I feel most of my other songs are about like heartbreak and like failed romance or whatever. Whereas this is a song that's very happy, that I wrote about just being happy with my friends.
Well, I was gonna say, given like the circumstances that we're in, I'm sure a lot more people want to listen to happy music than sad breakup music. So that makes sense.
Yeah. So that's why I ended up deciding to release it, because I was going to release a sadder song instead at that time. But I thought people are probably already depressed. let's just lift the mood a little bit.
Gotcha. Have you given any thought about doing a music video for Prosecco and Rain?
Yeah, so I was gonna do like a self-made one because I really do not have the funds for a music video, like that's gonna like look good. So I was gonna make one on like iMovie, but I didn't really get around to it because I didn't want to like. I have a lot of videos of me and my friends from like the last 3 years. But I wasn't sure like how appropriate some of it would be, first of all, and also how like much people would really be into it, because it would be a pretty personal video of just like me and my friends, like, you know.
Gotcha. Completely understood. No, that's cool. Like, I mean, not every song needs a music video, so it makes sense. How long ago did you record it? Is this strictly, you said you wrote it about, or how long ago, first off, how long ago did you write it?
Yeah, so I wrote it in, like I said, I was in halls in uni, which is my first year.
Yeah.
I'm in my third year now. So I wrote it about my 19th birthday.
Okay, gotcha.
My birthday's the 1st of January.
Okay.
So I wrote it like over 2 years ago now.
Okay, gotcha. And then how long has it been recorded, or how long ago did you record it?
I recorded it in the summer after I wrote it.
So it's been sitting
in there for a while.
Yeah, it's been sitting there for. Wait, what do you think it was that kind of took you so long to release it, or was it just trying to find the right time?
I think I really wanted. I had some songs before that. I recorded Such a Time as This, Hindsight, and Princess. I recorded all of those at the same time. Because they were songs that I had all written in like at that point the last year of my life, between like the summer of 2018 and the summer of 2019. So I went to like the studio I'm with. I work with my friend Mark Hoy, who's like, he does like his studio is called J14 Productions in Northern Ireland, but I know him from church. So like me and him had been working together for like over a year at that point, just trying to find the right sound for me that would like match my sort of vibe of my music. And when we finally did, we just went for it and recorded all the songs that I wanted to release. And And at that point, I was like, I can afford 5 songs, so let's pick 5 that I really like and do that. So I did that, and I just wanted to wait because I didn't really know how to market myself, and I'm still learning how to do that. And I just feel like there's no point in releasing a song that only your friends are going to listen to. Like, I love it. It means more to me than anything when my friends love my music, because those are the people whose opinions I really truly care about. But the whole point in me trying to do it as a career is that I want to like gain fans and followers, and like
you want people to know that you're out here and you're actually releasing music, and they can't do that unless they know who you are, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, I've paid so much and worked so hard on these songs. There's no point in me releasing them to an empty audience.
Gotcha. Completely understood. And so now that it's been out for about 4 months, what's kind of going through your mind right now?
I have an abundance of songs that I want to release so badly. Because I have like, not only do I have like ideas for songs, I have ideas for like aesthetics for them, and like covers, and like things I want to say about them, and music videos. Like I have, because you know, my niche is being imaginative in terms of that sort of thing. So I have a lot that I want to release. I have one more song that I have recorded, and it's called "Be the One," that I wrote when I was 19. Like it was a song I wrote 2 years ago. So like I'm going to be releasing the next songs I'm going to be releasing are all going to be songs that I wrote when I was like 19. And I half cringe at myself for being like, oh my goodness, like I was so over dramatic. But I'm also like, you know, I still like the song. So I'm like, I still like this. It's good. It's a vibe. And I feel like "Be the One" is like Such Time As This. It's like sister song in a way. It's very poppy, but it's got a hook in it, and I'm very proud of the hook because it's very catchy, and I can tell if anyone listens to it, like it's just going to be stuck in their head. So I'm really excited to release it, but I don't know when I'm going to do that.
Gotcha. So, all right, like with all this, with all these songs that you're kind of working on, are you working towards an EP or an LP, or do you kind of just see yourself doing singles moving forward?
So I would have loved to do an EP, because I feel like when people do an EP, it really like, you can like brand an EP in a way that gives it a specific vibe and a specific aesthetic and things like that. But there was like, I've been involved with people in the music industry for the last like 6 years of my life. And I've had a couple of people who are quite like professional in it say to me that they've learned that when you're a new artist, that you should release singles and not full EPs, because if no one knows who you are and no one really cares that much, no one's going to sit down and listen to 5 songs in a row that you've written. It takes enough effort for people to listen to 3 minutes of one song. So if you focus on one song and really, really milk that one song for like a good month or two, people are sure to pay attention to it, opposed to like 5 songs that you have to try and like really, it's like almost more desperate.
I gotcha. I mean, to me, it comes down to how much you're out playing like live shows or doing touring or, you know, whatever. Because if you're out touring and you're playing different cities, different venues every night or like multiple times a week, then releasing an EP makes sense, because the people that are there that just happen to be there, you're like building your fan base by doing these live shows. And if they really like you, they'll buy that EP. But if you're just trying, like, if you're not out playing that much, you're essentially cold calling these people and say, hey, listen to this song. So I see both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, yeah. But of course, I haven't played a live show since like
20,
February 2020.
yeah. I mean, I don't think very many people have. Like, I mean,
No.
I don't know how it is over in Scotland, but the US, we're slowly starting to open. Some of the bigger acts are starting to announce fall tours and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like finishing up whatever tour they had to abandon at the beginning of 2020.
Yeah.
But still, like the small shows, they're pretty few and far between. Like not to the degree that it was, but what's kind of the feel and vibe in over by you?
Um, I mean, all of our bars and restaurants have actually just opened back up. All like the pubs and things like that are open. And in Glasgow specifically, you were allowed to eat inside, but if you were drinking, you have to sit outside. I think in the last week or so, we have tiers here. I don't know if you guys have tiers.
No, not really.
No, we have. So there's 5 tiers, and we just moved into tier 2. But because I've been in isolation because I tested positive for COVID for the first time ever.
Wow.
It was quite shocking. I was like, I thought it was kind of nearly over, but okay. I wasn't even really sick either. I had a little bit of a cough, but we moved into tier 2 on like Friday, I think, last Friday.
Yeah.
And I think that just entails like being able to eat and drink inside, and like the cinema and some other events being open, things like that. Being able to travel to other parts of the UK. But other than that, like, I don't know what else.
Gotcha. So since it's been a little bit since you played a show, probably or over a year, coming up on it. No, not a year and a half. You still got about 3 months before that happens. What have you kind of been doing to keep your performance chops up? Have you been doing like virtual live streams or the virtual concerts that happen to be very popular early on, or?
I didn't really do any of that. I did record myself playing a lot, and then I would like post it on Instagram and TikTok and things like that. And I got a lot more creative with my songwriting as well. Like I like to take songs that have already been like popular songs that have been written, and then like kind of write them from a different perspective. So, like Olivia Rodrigo.
Yeah.
I feel like she's like the it girl right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to take advantage of this. Her song's good.
It's funny about her. She was on Saturday Night Live the couple weeks ago, and that was the first time she was the guest musician for the final episode of the season, and that was the first time I had heard of her. And I went and looked at her just found her on Facebook. I was like, oh, okay, cool, she's got a following, whatever. And then now it's just she's everywhere. I'm like, all right, well, I guess I missed that train. So
yeah, so like she came out with Driver's License I think in like over Christmas time sometime.
Yeah.
I only know that because I remember I was home at that point.
Yeah.
So it was definitely Christmas time. I'm pretty sure that happened. And it was all I saw on my For You page on TikTok. And I had the bright idea of writing the blonde girl's perspective.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people were being like, oh, it's, the blonde girl and the song is about Sabrina Carpenter and that sort of thing. So I was like, I'm going to write it from her perspective. But it turns out a lot of other people have the same idea.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But then she released Good For You. And when I first listened to it, I was in a place where I was like, I wasn't like in a bad place, but I was in a place where I was like, I feel like I need something to scream to.
Yeah.
And that song did it for me a lot. And I wrote it like, she's kind of writing it like in like, you know, like the 7 stages of grief.
Yeah.
I feel like this was like the angry stage of a breakup where you're like not over it, but you're angry. And I listened to that and that's what I got from it. And I was like, what if she wrote this song in an angry way, but like only she was over it? So I posted a TikTok being like, what if Olivia Rodrigo wrote Good For You, only she was actually over it? And I wrote it from a perspective of her being actually over the breakup. And some people liked it. And then Taylor Swift has a song called Champagne Problems.
It sounds like I'm gonna have to follow you on TikTok, because
Yeah.
I don't go on TikTok that often, but just because I can't find enough content on there to keep me interested. But I think I'm gonna have to go follow you on TikTok now.
Depends what niche you
Yeah.
find. Yeah. But Champagne Problems was like one of my favorite songs, and it's about a woman rejecting a proposal from her boyfriend who she's been going out with since college. And like it's because of like kind of her own self-sabotage, mental health issues. So I decided to write it from the perspective of her younger self, being like, why on earth would you reject him? Like, you're so young and in love right now. And loads of people found it really depressing, but like in a good way, I hope. Like, people were commenting like, why would you do this to me? And I was like, well, I guess I'm doing my job.
Gotcha. So since it seems like you're always writing, you're finding these prompts and challenges to kind of challenge yourself writing, but like what you did with Olivia Rodrigo or Taylor Swift, you know, like all that fun stuff. What's kind of your process when you sit down to write? Are you more free spirited, or do you have to be very diligent and very like, I'm sitting down to write?
Well, I mean, I have a note on my phone, you know, like the notes you have on your phone. And I have one just titled lyrics.
Okay.
And anytime I come up with a good lyric, I write it down in there. And usually when I come up with one line, I'll like write, I'll come up with like a rhyme word that'll help me write the next line. That's how I kind of write lyrics in general. If I come up with like, I don't know, I'm going to make up something really stupid right now, like the window is open. And then I'll be like, okay, what rhymes with open? And then I'll find a word that rhymes with open and then write a line that matches the word that I've come up with that rhymes with that other word. If that makes sense. And I just keep going and going and going and going.
All right, I gotcha. So basically you just kind of build each song one lyric at a time, essentially.
Yeah. Or like, but the thing is that the wonderful thing about songwriting is that it does not happen the same every time you write a song. It happens differently every time. And I am not a person who likes routine, which is why I don't think I would really like, I'm not the type of person who's ever going to work in like an office job with a boss who tells me what to do every day. I like to kind of be like creative and like a bit spontaneous. That sounded so like, oh, I'm so quirky, but like I don't mean it like that.
Gotcha. As far as like when for your writing process, do you find it's easier to write lyrics when you have instrumentation, or is it easier to write the instrumentation once you have lyrics down?
It depends what it is. Like sometimes I'll hear a word or a phrase that I think is really interesting and want to use it in a song, and I'll feel a feeling about a certain situation and come up with like a chord progression that kind of matches it, and then I'll just start singing, and whatever comes out, and I'll just record it on my phone, on like the voice notes on my phone. Or I'll have like all the lyrics written down, and I'll be like, I wonder what I could like do with this. that could make it match to like a certain like melody or whatever, or a certain like chord progression or whatever. And I'll sit down and say like, okay, this sounds like something that would be very eerie, or this sounds like something that would be very like sarcastically happy, or this sounds something that would be actually happy, or something that would be sad or whatever. And I'll just be like, okay, I'm just going to start playing stuff and find something. And then when I find something, I'll use the lyrics and like match it to whatever I've come up with on my guitar.
Gotcha.
That makes sense. But
Yeah,
like it always happens differently. That's just kind of usually what would happen in some example.
Gotcha. That makes perfect sense. So what do you know, or you don't, do you know what you're kind of, or what do you have coming up? Do you know what song you want to release next, or is it just kind of when the timing's right, the time is right?
Well, it will be the next one I kind of said about earlier.
Okay.
But
you just don't know when. You just don't know when you'll release it.
I would if I felt like I could release it right like tomorrow.
Yeah.
I would do it, but I really want to market it in a perfect way.
Gotcha.
And I've started working with some more professional people who kind of know more what they're doing. So I want to try and build up my following a little bit more with the song, because I have got quite a few songs out that I feel like I haven't really used to my advantage yet.
Gotcha.
So I want to try and build up my following a little bit before I release something else.
Gotcha. And I mean, Prosecco and Rain did a really good job of like really getting your name out there just by everything that I've seen about the song, and you know, all the streams it seems to have gotten on Spotify, you know, and all that stuff. So I'm really excited to see what the next release does for you and where you go from there. But I want to talk to you a little bit before I let you go here about life outside of music. What do you kind of do when you need a little you time, or to kind of escape from everything?
Well, what I this is something that like I don't know if people are going to think I'm a little bit of a hippie.
Okay.
But like I do love for a while I got up really early in the morning, and especially because it's summertime, I would like sit in my living room and just love to like meditate. And I think meditation, because I do psychology as well, I've just learned like the importance of like trying to like fix your belief systems in a different way. I have a playlist on Spotify called like affirmations, and I just add songs to that are just like good for your mental health. Ariana Grande is very good for your mental health, can I just say? Like that's like, I know, a weird thing to say, but like she's like so mentally healthy in terms of the songs she releases for some reason. I don't know. I feel like we'd be good friends if I met her. But I would like and journaling. I love journaling in terms of like I do a lot of shadow work, which is like kind of getting into your inner child and finding like why you're ashamed of like being yourself, and like how you can be more authentic, and like what are the things that you need to heal yourself from, and things like that. I'm a Christian as well, you know, my cross necklace, and so I love to like pray and like read my Bible and learn how to not worry all the time through that. And
not worrying all the time is really hard to learn, but it is very vital.
I find that being in the present moment and appreciating gratitude, I've practiced a lot of gratitude, and having a gratitude journal has really helped me. Just writing down like 3 things a day that you've been grateful for in the morning and at nighttime. Very, very good for your brain and spiritually as well. And I'm also a very social person. I love my friends. I've got the bestest friends in the whole world, and I love them to bits. So I love hanging out with them. And I've got an amazing boyfriend as well, who I'm also staying with. I'm actually in his bedroom right now because we've been isolating together. So
hey, at least you have somebody to isolate with, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've had a great time. It's been great. Very
Nice.
fun. Cooked a
Awesome.
lot of good meals.
Yeah. And it's always good when you have the ability and know how to make decent meals, because sometimes people just don't know how to cook. And
Yeah. I'm not the best cook, but I'm trying my best.
hey, trying is getting somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So,
I'm gonna
but
have to have kids and all that one day, so
yeah,
may as well.
gotcha completely. So if any, for anybody that wants to check out your music or any potentially upcoming shows, where's the best place for them to do that?
For shows, I haven't really thought about it yet, in all honesty. I would have usually played at King Tut's in Glasgow. I don't know if you would have heard of it. It's
Nope.
quite a
I saw it on your Spotify bio page, but
yeah.
that's about all I know about it.
Lewis Capaldi used to play there all the time. And now I'm like, every time I go up, I'm like, you're Lewis Capaldi. You are Lewis Capaldi. But like, yeah, I don't know. It helps me anyway.
Yeah.
And then where else do I play? I mean, I play at the Classic Grand sometimes.
Okay.
I haven't played there in a long time because obviously everything.
Yeah.
And then
like as far as like your schedule, like if they want to like if like a schedule, where would you post your schedule and stuff like that?
Instagram.
Okay.
Or Spotify, but like mostly Instagram, I think.
Okay. Is Instagram mainly where you're most active social media wise?
Mm-hmm. Well, Instagram and TikTok. I'm trying to be more active on TikTok, but I've had Instagram since I was 11, so it's just what I'm used to.
Gotcha. And I'm just trying to get more active on Instagram. Like it's so hard for me to like actively want to post on there because I have to like have a visual component to everything I do, where I can't just say, hey, what's going on? Got like whatever, like I can on Facebook. Yeah. So it's one of those things. I mean, I guess I could. I just have to do it in a different format. But no, that's awesome. What are your social media handles for anybody that wants to check that stuff out?
So my Instagram is Sarah McMurray _. My Facebook is Sarah McMurray Music. Not that like Facebook isn't really a big deal anymore, I suppose. Yeah. Then my TikTok is, what is my TikTok actually? I think it's just Sarah. I think Sarah McMurray _ as well.
Okay. It'll
either be underscore or it'll have a second Y.
Yeah.
That's what it'll be. Then Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Deezer, YouTube. I think I'm on pretty much every streaming platform. I don't know what else people really use.
Yeah.
But it'll just be Sarah McMurray, which is like
awesome.
McMurray.
Awesome. Well, once again, thank you so much for jumping on. It's been an absolute blast chatting with you. And I can't, like I mentioned earlier, I can't wait to listen to your new single once you kind of decide when to release it and all that stuff. I can't wait to check it out. And hopefully shows start opening up like just in a wider capacity, because I know, especially here in the States, it's a state by state thing. Like I live in Texas, but I'm currently in Florida. Luckily, they're both kind of on the same wavelength, and there's been shows. But if I go up to Georgia, you may not get shows. So it's kind of a state to state thing right now.
Right. America's so cool. I don't know what it is. Just you being like, oh yeah, I'm from Texas and stuff. I don't know. I just think
that's.
I don't know.
Well, I'm not from Texas. I moved there about 1.5 years ago for a job that I got. So.
Right. I've been to Nashville.
Right. Nashville is really cool. Not to go off on a side tangent on Nashville. Nashville is really cool, but even though I'm assuming it's been at least 1.5 years since you've been there, given everything that's going on.
I went when I was 18.
What's that?
I went when I was 18, so it would have been like 3 years ago.
Nashville is 100% different than you remember it. I will stake every reputation that I have. It is 100% different than you remember it.
Okay.
because in the 2-3 years that since you've been there, Nashville's gone through so much change.
Well, I watched Taylor Swift's documentary, Miss Americana,
Huh.
and it seems that way by the sounds of things from watching that documentary. So I get that. I don't really know a lot about politics, in all honesty, in America.
Yeah.
So I can't really say much.
Well, not even on a political spectrum. I'm just meaning just as a city in general. Like it's grown probably, I couldn't even tell you how much in the last 3 years. That city has grown so much.
Okay. Well, it was still when I went there, I felt like I was in a dream world.
Yeah.
In all honesty.
Yeah.
I felt like I was in a movie.
Nashville is one of the places I really enjoy going, and I've always kind of said that if I wanted to just dedicate myself to country music, that's probably where I would end up going.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not ready to make that commitment yet. So, yeah.
Everything's in good time.
Yep, absolutely. But once again, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we will catch you guys later.